Welcome to the Daily Vibecasting.
Ready to dive in?
All right, let's jump straight into what's buzzing on X today. We've sifted through 17 posts that are really making waves.
17, okay. Covering tech, culture, global stuff, market trends, the usual mix.
Exactly. The goal here is to give you the pulse, quick insights, keep it balanced. Let's do this.
Sounds good. What's hitting first?
Okay, first up, you guys see this from @D4MNN. He posted a screenshot. Cloudflare bill, just $0. That's it.
$0. Seriously. For what kind of usage?
You get this, 8.57 million requests and nearly 450 gigs of bandwidth, all on the free tier.
Wow. That's actually incredible. Cloudflare's free tier is no joke.
Right. And this guy, Dan Talk at D4MNN, he shipped like 14-plus profitable products, so he knows his stuff.
Yeah, that definitely adds weight. What else stood out in that post?
Well, the traffic breakdown was kind of interesting. Ireland was number 2 for requests right after the U.S.
Huh. Ireland. That is a bit unexpected. Maybe it's linked to their infrastructure expansion there last year. Or, maybe something with IPv6 rollouts.
Could be. Okay, next one. @4Gibits, that's Klaas, CTO, at an AI SEO company, he tweeted. So we are all going to give our entire code base to OpenAI. Sounds wild.
Wild is one way to put it. It really taps into that whole conversation around AI and development, doesn't it?
Totally, like GitHub Copilot and tools like that.
Exactly. And the immediate thought is, well, intellectual property, right?
Yeah.
And are we training AI on proprietary code? It echoes those earlier debates about open source code being used.
Yeah, and maybe concerns about, like, vibe coders just relying on AI without understanding, or developers' work being exploited.
It's a big discussion. Okay, what's next on the list?
Let's switch gears. @Sweaty Startup, Nick Huber, real estate and startups guy, he's at Rolex, says Rolex is a funny brand and a good look at a human ego. Make it make sense.
Rolex. Yeah, the psychology there is fascinating.
He points out they spend tons on advertising, have shops in the best locations.
But you can rarely just walk in and buy the watch you want.
Right, exactly. What's the logic?
Well, it's classic scarcity marketing, isn't it? Makes the watches seem way more exclusive and desirable. It boosts that perceived value through the roof. Human ego, like he said.
Makes you think. Okay, different vibe now. At Business Barista, Alex Lieberman from Morning Brew shared a pretty bad VC experience.
Oh, really? What happened?
So the VC showed up late, was totally checked out, even giggled during the pitch apparently, and then wouldn't answer their questions.
Ooh, that's rough. And really unprofessional.
Yeah, he said it made him never want to interact with VCs again.
I get that. It just undermines the whole idea of partnership and respect that should be there,
Definitely. Okay, big news from the YouTube world now. At Dudes Posting W's, it's a humor account posted. Breaking! YouTuber Outdoor Boys, 14.8 meaty subs, just announced he's retiring the channel for now. End of an era.
Whoa, Outdoor Boys. 14.8 million subs. That's huge. Why is he stopping?
Apparently the fame get too much, and he wants to focus on his kids' channels, helping others, keeping things wholesome, basically.
Wow. Stepping back at that peak, that takes something, especially with that kind of following.
Clearly. And at Pictures Fighter, the viral media account, they called him an absolute legend for it.
Yeah.
Pointed out he made thousands of videos, quality stuff, and quit at the top to protect his family. A real contrast to some of the clickbait stuff you see.
That perspective makes sense. Prioritizing family over fame in that world. Yeah, you can see why people respect that.
But then check this out. At Greg, 16676935420, asked, am I the only one in the world who didn't know who this guy was?
See? Even with 15 million subs, you're not universally known. It just shows how fragmented audiences are online. Massive in one circle, unknown in another.
So true. Okay, shifting to something quite serious.
Yeah.
At Gene Kuhihe, the gene editing scientist.
Oh, right. The CRISPR babies controversy. What's he posted?
He said this might be his last post on X. Stated that if the Chinese government doesn't let his wife join him in Beijing, he'll leave China and work in the U.S.
Wow. That's a major statement. Given his history and the implications of his work, that's significant. A potential move to the U.S. would definitely make waves in the scientific community.
Yeah, pretty heavy stuff. Okay, zooming out a bit now. At Andrew Yang posted a warning. Expect this to get worse, referring to economic hardship. Dramatic measures would be required, especially with AI soaking up more and more jobs.
Yang's consistent message. He's likely referencing that CBS report, right? But 60% of U.S. households struggling to afford a basic quality of life.
That's odd. And yeah, that metric includes things like healthcare, education, tech access, modern necessities.
And his point about AI accelerating job displacement, it connects directly to his push for things like universal basic income. It's a growing concern for sure.
Meanwhile, on the political front, at Riddle Donald Trump posted just the flag emojis, chefs it to video.
Okay, what was the video showing?
It highlighted a visit to the UAE, showed him receiving the Order of Zayed, which is a high honor there.
Interesting. Diplomatic engagements like that always have undercurrents. Any specific deals mentioned?
Yeah, the captions mentioned something about potentially $10 trillion in UAE investment in the U.S. and an agreement on AI semiconductors. Big numbers.
Very big numbers. Definitely something to watch in terms of global economics and tech supply chains.
Okay, for something a bit more. Cosmic. At Phys and History, shared this incredible logarithmic map of the universe.
Oh, I think I've seen that image by Pablo Carlos Berdassi. It's mind-bending.
Totally. And they paired it with the quote, "The more you know you don't know," attributed to Aristotle.
Right, though that quote is often debated. Might be more Socratic or just a general wisdom saying, but yeah, it fits perfectly with looking at the entire observable universe on one map. Humbling.
Definitely. And need to relax after that. At Adrian Dittman shared a finding. Apparently, just listening to birdsong can lower stress.
Oh, I believe that. There's research on it, right? Lowering cortisol, heart rate.
Exactly. Apparently, it taps into some evolutionary thing where birdsong signals safety, like no predators around.
Makes sense. A nice reminder of how connected we still are to those basic natural cues. Simple, but effective.
Back to the tech world quickly. Ed Omarsar, who works with AI agents, posted about the difference between AI agents and agentic AI, shared his notes.
Getting into the weeds of AI terminology. That distinction matters. Agentic usually implies more autonomy, more goal-directed behavior, right? Things like RAG and the agentic loop he probably mentioned are key architectural patterns there.
Sounds about right. And speaking of AI, at Tesla is asking people to share how FSD Supervise has become invaluable for them, looking for user videos.
The testimonial push. Makes sense. They want real-world stories to show off the system hands-free driving, but you still got to pay attention. That's the supervised part. Build confidence, basically.
Gotcha. Okay, sports moment. At Stool Presidente, Dave Portnoy, he's super hyped about the Indiana Fever, posted "locked in," hashtag Indiana Fever with a picture of him in the jersey.
Portnoy's all in. He brings a lot of eyeballs wherever he puts his attention. Probably good for the Fever's profile. Didn't he have some huge bet on them, too?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Okay, a bit of dev drama here.
Yeah.
His CEO at D3.chat had a pretty strong take on unit tests.
Oh, yeah. What do you say?
He tweeted, 95% of the unit tests I've seen are borderline useless, and the other 5% were written by devs so talented that IGs they can ship bugs.
Ouch. That's blunt. But it reflects a real debate, you know? Are unit tests always valuable, or do they sometimes just test trivial things or become a maintenance burden? It's not a settled question.
Seems like it. Okay, and finally, just pure internet weirdness from @GarbageHuman24.
Okay, lay it on me.
It's a meme, you know, that template. This one's got koi fish, but with digitally added human heads.
Human-headed koi fish.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. One of those things. Apparently, you're not supposed to overfeed real koi, though, so there's a factoid for you.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Never feed the human-headed koi too much. Got it.
Exactly. So that's our whirlwind tour of the X-verse today. Tech, culture, VCs, presidents, memes. It's all in there.
It really is a snapshot of, well, everything happening all at once. Non-stop.
For sure. So here's something to chew on. With this constant flood, what does it even mean to be truly informed anymore? How do you filter the signal from the noise?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Definitely something to think about. Thanks for tuning in to the Daily Vibecasting.
See you next time.